Well, good morning everybody on this rather cloudy, slightly breezy, slightly cool but not too cold. I can still just about wear a t-shirt standing outside. Wednesday morning, mid-late August, down in this valley. So those that know the area will recognize the Sphinx up there. I call it the Sphinx because from this angle Linz Tor to me looks exactly like a Sphinx thing. So on the face of it you think, oh wow, he's actually up and out early. Whoa, it's 20 to 10 and I think I woke up at about, I think it was about 10 past, quarter past 9, something like that. I think I'm just so tired these days, to be fair, and I put my head down because different things at home. I don't sleep as much as I should. Better than I did, let's put it that way, but still probably not as much as I should through one reason or another. Partly outside my control, but probably partly not too. But anyway, it's a different story. Anyway, I've yeah, so I went to bed, put my head down last night about, it was about 11. No, it wasn't. I think it was about I think it was about 10:30. 10:30. I think I put my head down about 10:30. And then I woke up at 12:30, like just after midnight, and I had a cup of tea. I have to have a cup of tea when I wake up. So I had a tea when I woke up at 12:30. Luckily, I fell asleep again, must have been quite quickly. Certainly, I think my head was down again just after 1. And then I think the next thing I knew, it was about 7:30, 6:37, round about 6:37 I think. So I put my head down again, and to be fair, I didn't think I'd fall asleep, but then the next thing I knew, I woke up and it was just gone 9. But anyway, we're not in any rush, so that's fine. I mean, this leave early thing, yes, I think if you're in a popular area where there are people, you know, if there are people wandering around and, you know, taking photographs and tourist hot spots and all that type of thing, yeah, I definitely think you should. Even I would be, oh, I need to get going, probably reluctantly, but even I would be disturbed, and then we'd just pack up and go. But I think if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know, you're not causing a single disturbance and there's no one around, then I think out here, and again, most people, I had a few comments, you know, on a couple of my videos, and I think most people do get up early and go early, and that's fine. To be fair, I've never been an early riser, and it's probably just got worse as I've got older. I remember when I was young, I used to, because my parents didn't get on very well, to put it well, more my mum didn't like my dad really, but anyway, it's beside the point. My parents didn't really get on very well. So in the sort of the 90s and very early 2000s, I kind of got double bubble, because if my dad wanted to go on holiday, I went with him, and if my mum wanted to go on holiday, I went with her. And there was a time when they both did upwards of a couple of holidays a year. So, you know, for a few years, I had like 4 holidays, and to be fair, they paid for them as well. So I had 4 holidays. In like the early, in like the late 90s, mid-late 90s particularly. Anyway, what I remember is I used to go to Tunisia with my mum in the very late 80s and the early 90s. And my mum was up at the crack of dawn, you know, she'd be up at like, what, you know, the crack of dawn basically. And she'd be saying, Tony, wake up, you're missing the sunrise, you're missing the best part of the day. And I'd never, you know, and I'd be just comatose. I think eventually I got up. I think a couple of times I got up to try and get some sunset photographs, but generally I've just never been, you know, a morning person. I've never been very good at waking up, and like I said, things in life in the last sort of 10 years particularly have just been a bit more difficult, and I just find life, well, not life, but just dealing with dealing with other people really is just exhausting, and I must admit I am quite tired. So I think that's one reason I can actually almost guarantee, you know, when I'm out here, apart from yesterday when I had a bunch of bloody school kids turn up at the same pitch that I was at. To be fair, they were quiet and didn't disturb me, although I did hear voices at 7 o'clock in the morning, so that probably woke me up yesterday. So I'm definitely happy that we've got peace and quiet today. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. And like I said, it is coming up to 10, so we will have to get a little bit of a leg move, because I kind of want to try and get going for 11:30 even would be okay. I did have 11 in mind, but 11:30 would even be okay if we're a bit slow. It doesn't take too long to pack up, you know, steadily. I'm not in any rush. So this is camp. So I've put my shoes, because the shoes and socks got very wet, so I've just put the shoes and socks there. I've got my breakfast on, well, that's ready, so I'm just letting it reconstitute, as it were. That's obviously bed, and you know, my breakfast packets and tea bags. So I'm going to have at least one, if not probably two more teas, water and fuel, and obviously I'll just show you around camp. So I've put bungee cord on the doodahs, you know, the ground sheets, and to be fair, that does work quite well. You know, I think if you had the clips in the corners and you had it a little bit higher, it would work even better to give you a bathtub floor, but it works well enough. Anyway, bizarrely, where are you? There. Bizarrely, it is quite cool out here. There is quite a cool breeze, so I'm going to get back under cover before my bits start to start to drop off. Okay, well, we packed up and we've got going, and we're on a bearing. Camp was down there. I didn't in the end I forgot to film inside. I was just packing up. So anyway, we'll want about a bearing of about 80 degrees, which will just get up this hill, and then we'll kind of double check, you know, once we're up here, we'll follow a bearing of about 80 degrees. We want to head about 3 kilometers to a military track. If we miss it, then we'll go on to Hanging Stone Hill, which we want anyway. But if we can get the track, then it's 3 kilometers to the track, and then about 1 kilometer on the track, because the track kind of goes, it kind of comes along here and then goes that way and then up to Hanging Stone Hill. So we want to try and catch it along here. If we miss it, we'll be walking parallel to it for 1 kilometer to Hanging Stone Hill. So we just want to catch that end little bit. So 90 degrees would take us to Hanging Stone Hill, but about potentially 4 kilometers through this. So if we just angle slightly to the left of 90 degrees, so I'm kind of estimating about 80 degrees, then hopefully we'll hit that track. we'll see. Navigation this trip so far has been suspect at best. Not all entirely my fault, but certainly certainly should have been keeping my brain open a bit more. Anyway, we're going to carry on slogging our way through this stuff for the moment. Really, once we've done this 3 kilometers, depending on what this is like, we might pick up a trail somewhere. The rest of the walk should be fairly straightforward, but we'll see. I want to try and get over to one of the other tours, and that might be a bit cross-country. I'm not sure. Ultimately, we'll do about 8 to 10 kilometers today, so not too far. And we're going to aim for the bottom of Steepleton Tor. So not too far, shouldn't be too complicated. We better get going now because it's 25 past 11. And then we got a phone signal. Okay, well, big change of plan. This is Steepleton Tor. We didn't time travel here, although that would have been nice. As I was walking up from camp, I didn't have a signal in camp, and my phone lit up, and I noticed various messages, and there was one message which was a bit startling, and that was that the local vet had Lassie, and she's okay, nothing, but somehow she got out. I don't understand what or how. I've spoken to her mum, and her mum let her in the back garden during the evening, and then Lassie wasn't sick, so I don't know. Lassie normally doesn't get out or even want to get out, so I don't really understand what happened there. Anyway, somehow Lassie got out, which is just very unusual. So I spoke to the vet, and I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to get back today, because I didn't know whether they'd be open or anything. Anyway, then they started to say that the dog warden was going to come around and pick Lassie up, and I'd have to go somewhere else to pick up Lassie if I got back, and then that group of people that we saw, those kids that we saw the other day, well, apparently they are Duke of Edinburgh's, and just luck. I went up to Dinger Tor. I wasn't planning on going to Dinger Tor, but I went to Dinger Tor because I was trying to figure out what was happening, because I wanted a signal, because I didn't have a signal lower down. So my plans were already slightly changed, and I saw this army vehicle, and I sort of stopped them. Well, they weren't actually driving, because they're driving around, you know, keeping an eye on the little kiddie winkles. So I just said, well, I need to get back home today, preferably, because if I can get back early enough that I can pick up Lassie today from the vet, whereas the vet said that the dog warden would take her this evening. As if they can't just keep her just for 24 hours, or at least until I had a chance to get back and they're open. Anyway, the army people were really kind, and I don't know how many kilometers they saved me, but they drove from Dinger Tor basically to this path going up. This is the side of Steepleton Tor, which we can't see, is up there. So I'm going to, we don't need to go up Steepleton. I've checked the map, And when we get up here, there's a path just the other side of the valley, the next valley, that will take us to Houndtor, and I think it was Houndtor, and then from there I can then fairly easily get over to back over to the car at Score Hill. I really wanted to stay out tonight, but I really need to get I really need to rescue Lassie before the dog warden. I'll have to check my mum and dad's garden, because she's never ever done that. And people in that area should know, unless you got down the back, because I mean people on our side, our street, would know Lassie. So we're on a Lassie rescue mission now, so I'll get back tonight. Like I said, it's just gone 1, so we left camp at 11. We left camp at about 11 and it's just gone 1, and obviously all the plans have changed now. It's been a really odd trip, this one. Oh, anyway, all right, well I'll give mum and dad a ring when I get a bit up here and a better signal, and I'll give the vet a ring and tell them that the army saved me. I don't know how far that was from doing a tour down to here. There's a parking, well, you know, not a parking thing, but so that's the path that goes up to Steepleton. I'm gonna have to have a look at the map, because I need to get over to the next valley, and that stuff looks horrible. If you see the little arrow there, it's pointing to the left, but clearly we're going up the path, so it should be pointing down. Now if I do this, and it's still, this is why that error was made yesterday. You see, when I point it that way, it's kind of pointing over there. That's pointing over there, but when I point up the hill, it's pointing to the right. To have it pointing on the road, I've got to have it that angle there, whereas the road is clearly there. So I don't really know what's happening with that. In that one, this is the apple, and it's got a slightly different thing, but you can see that when we're pointing up the road, it is for the most part pointing, there's a little, it doesn't have the same arrow. It's got an arrow, there's a tiny arrow down there, and that's pointing up the road there. Obviously it's in reverse because that's pointing south, you know what I mean there, because we're upside down. Steepleton Tor is there, so when that is pointing to Steepleton Tor, that arrow is correct, so the apple is correct. I don't know why the Samsung is messing up, but what I want to do is, I think if I go up a little bit further, and then I want to get over to this trail here, this black dot over here. I don't want to go all the way up there and around there. I want to cut that corner across there, and then that would get me to Hound Tor, and then I can get over to the car. Well, this is the other side of Steeperton Tor. If I'd have crossed over higher up, I might have picked up one of those paths there, or you know, when you're in this stuff and you can't see those paths, it's very difficult to find them. When you find them, it's not so bad. You can see a nice trail coming over there, and then there's probably a trail that will cut up over that way, but I couldn't see it from where I was, so I just ended up coming straight across. And to be fair, I probably, to try and save some of that steep, deep stuff, I probably came up a little bit too far on the trail, because I was almost opposite. I think that's Wharton Tor over there. It could be Wild Tor, but it's one of them anyway. I think it's Wharton. And that's Hound Tor just over there. So there should be, famous last words, there should be a very, very obvious trail from that tor to Hound Tor. Well, there definitely will be, you know. I think it'll be so big you won't be able as you won't be able to miss it. So we should be able to get onto that. Then it's a matter of getting to Hound Tor, and then from Hound Tor, I think the easiest way, unless we can cut a corner and we can see an easy corner to cut, and I'll do that if I see one, then the easiest way is Hound Tor, the stone circles, and then Button Hill and Score Hill, and then the car. I think there might be a corner we can cut, because I think the path that we want is the one below that hill. Ow. Oh dear. Oh, Petzl. Okay, I'm gonna keep walking. We should get to that path in a minute, that trail in a minute. I might even be able to see it just up here. Yeah, there it is. Oh, is that it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's it or not. I think that tor over there on the horizon, I think that's Wild Tor. As I say, my original plan today was to get to Steeperton Tor, which we kind of did. No, was to get over to those tors via Hanging Stone. So get to Hanging Stone, and then over to Wild Tor, then to this one here, Wharton Tor, and then up to Steeperton, and then head out tomorrow. So I'll figure out what's happening with her mum's garden, see whether there's a problem there, figure things out on the dog front, and then we'll be back out again hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I think it's just a little blip, but yeah, we've got to figure out what's happening. Because I say, my mum does have dementia, so that doesn't really help. But generally, she's doing okay, and I think she's okay to let the dogs in the garden. She's okay to put food down for them. So yeah, and she's still looking after the cat. She's got her own cats that she looks after. So I don't quite know what happened there. Anyway, we'll catch up. Yeah, so that's Score Hill over there. There's even a helicopter over there. we flagged down the army car. Maybe we flagged down the helicopter as well. Coming in quite close over there. I think I did see some people up on Wharton Tour, because like I said, there is the Duke of Edinburgh thing, so maybe they're even doing alright. So we're nearly back where we started from. We've done an average speed of 4 kilometers an hour. I think we were barely averaging 2 over the rough terrain, but I think that army vehicle helped save us a few kilometers at least, as I say, from basically Dingator to near Steepleton. So anyway, we're back. I've spoken to the vet. They're going to hold Lassie until I get there. As I say, lucky I'm able to get back today. They close at 8, so I've got time to play with. If they'd have held her until tomorrow without the dogs home, or whatever stupid nonsense they were talking about, I probably would have just gone back tomorrow. Especially, it would have been potentially more tricky if I'd have not had that lift. I might have got back, but then I could have got stuck in traffic. So I have to say 2 things. One, once they said that they would hold her today and only today, I was kind of okay, I've got to try and get back today, so really don't want to put in a dog pound. It's just ridiculous. And then when I saw that army vehicle, I thought, okay, let's just hope that he can get me, save me those few kilometers. So, you know, if I hadn't been able to have got back, I would have had to have figured out how to get her back tomorrow. Anyway, all's well that ends well, as they say. We're nearly back at the car park. You can see Kestor Rock in the distance over there. You can see Stannon Tor, which is the one that we sort of, my knee is playing up a bit now as well. So that's the one that we sort of ended up at by accident yesterday. Hadn't planned on. It's been a very strange few days. Anyway, I'm not sure when I'll be back out again. Sometime early September. As I said, I was hoping that I'd be out tonight and I'd get back tomorrow, but we'll get back tonight now, one less night, never mind. We've got some footage. I don't know what we've got, but we've got a bit of footage. And these things, they are sent to dryer, so we will get there. Anyway, I will catch up probably next trip. Thanks very much for watching.